Yo, what's up, son? It's me, your boy, Janal, or Baba G, as you may want to call me. And I just had something I'd like to say real quick about a quick behind the scenes. So, firstly, yesterday was the yesterday was the 4-month death anniversary of my grandfather. Now, in case you don't know what happened, my grandfather passed away on 6th of June this year due to a kind of cancer. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was a kind of cancer he got. So in this video I'm gonna tell you exactly about who he was, what were his final moments like, and who he was to me in jail. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, my grandfather was a very famous person back in Sri Lanka. He was the first narrator of a very well-known Sri Lankan play called Maname. He was the first narrator called Poteguru. Now, I'm not sure if you heard of Maname, but it was a very famous Sri Lankan play. He was the last of the original cast members, but still living even before his death happened. And in case you don't know, he also did a lot of service to Sri Lanka as a country, also while serving the government. He was also a member of an organization called the Lions Club here in Melbourne. He was a senior member until his final years long. Well, this isn't the first time my grandfather had cancer. This isn't even the first time anyone in my family gets cancer. Previously, my grandmother, who died before I was even born, she also died due to some kind of cancer. And so how my grandfather had cancer in around 2018 and 19 as well. 2019 especially, 2020 I think, I was dead scared. You know why? Because of the fact I was told, we received a call early in the morning that my mom and dad had to go to the hospital right away. Apparently my grandfather was gonna die. I woke up because my mom and dad weren't with me, so and stuff like that. They weren't in the house, so I found out that it happened. And so we did a few stuff. There was like a humble dog, meaning Buddhist monk that had the and the final stages. I wasn't in the hospital, okay? I was at home. I'm just clicking this off. So my family members said that was during COVID, and he was all right after that. He began eating healthy. He began living a very healthy life. All of us. But then in this year, 2023, his cancer had a major striking return. Yes, that's right. And this time, it got worse. There was no sign of recovery. Apparently, the cancer this time was, I think, affecting his brain right here. It was affecting his brain. So there were a lot of things he couldn't do. For his final days, he couldn't eat normally. He couldn't drink normally. He couldn't do anything normally because the cancer was affecting his brain. And our whole body works because of our brain. But then early in the morning of 6th of June, I'm having a peaceful Baba J sleep at 5th of June that night. At around 11, I get woken up saying I have to put on some clothes. I'm confused. I am absolutely confused. I don't know what's going on. Who likes being woken up? Who likes being woken up in the middle of their good beauty sleep? I was gonna have school the next day as well. But then I found out what was happening. We were at the hospital where it happened. We walked to the palliative care. That was my grandfather. Previously, I also made 2 previous visits. My grandfather was barely conscious, but he was alright. But in this one, also the worst. I saw him at his worst. He was gasping for breath, he was gasping for breath in the morning. The first time he managed to sense that we were there. He managed to recognize but when he was dying, he could sense someone there, but he couldn't recognize us because he was and then he might go tired, so he went home. Then I wake up a few hours later and I found out he passed away. That was the full story about how he died and he did stuff like that. So yeah. That was the final moment. His funeral took place 2 days later. And, Father. Firstly, he was important to me because he was my grandpa, of course. Whose grandpa is not important to them? My one definitely is no different. But here's the thing, he also helped my brother a lot during the final year exams. He used to come every day and tutor my brother for maths and stuff like that. But for me, he was there for me in every big step of the way. He was there when I received a certificate from the then Premier Daniel Andrews. He was the first to do it. However, that is a whole other story that I cannot fit in this video right here. He also always prioritized education over anything. And he was always a really big person for me. He was my number one fan. He was always there for me when I was at my best. And I wrote a book called Springtime Andrews. And he was someone who I acknowledged. And so he was someone like that. Grew up Christian. However, he soon became an atheist. Even though he sold many books around Buddhism, he never really practiced the religion, but he lived by the philosophy.